Hello friends, I'm back with new video. So today we will learn what is the difference between compiler and interpreter. Okay, so what is a compiler and what is an interpreter? These both are used to translate the human understandable language like Hindi, English, Punjabi into the machine understandable language and vice versa. Okay, but the major difference is that compiler converts the whole line of code into one go, because if you have a program of just consider you have a four line of code. Okay, so what compilers do? Compiler takes the whole four line of code, or you can say the instructions in one go, and it converts it into the binary code, which is, you also say that it is a machine code, which is machine understandable. So interpreter translate the first line, then after it translate the second line, then third line, then fourth line. So compiler can translate the complete line of code in one go, and interpreter translate one by one a line. So what is the difference next? That if interpreter translate line by line, so it is very slow in nature in comparison of the compiler, and compiler is fast in nature because it translates the whole line of code in one go. Okay, but if the interpreter is slow, okay, then the accuracy of an interpreter is high. Why the accuracy is high? Because it translates us line by line, so it takes more time, so obviously it will be more accurate than the compiler, and compiler have less accuracy. Okay, what we can say, compiler have less accuracy. Okay, then
Okay, so what compiler do is that it displays all the errors after completion and all at the same time. That means once we execute the program, that compiler translate the whole program into one go, and at the same time it gives the error if it have. And what interpreter do before going to execute the output, the final output, in between that it displays the all errors of each line one by one. Like if any error is there in the first line, it will display at the same time, so that before going to move into the second line, we can correct the first line. Okay, so this is how the working of the interpreter and compiler is. So hence if that the as we have seen that interpreter do the things line by line, so it is slower and it have slower execution, and the compiler have the faster execution. Next is that intermediate object code requires memory, because in a compiler that interpreter object code is made. No immediate code, thus less memory required, because that intermediate code is not made inside, because the intermediate code is not made. So a compiler takes the entire program in one go, and interpreter takes single line of code at a time. And compiler generates an intermediate machine code, right, as we have seen earlier, and interpreter never produces any intermediate machine code. And compiler uses which languages, and you can say in which languages compiler is used: C language, C++, C sharp, Scala and Java, etc. And in interpreter, and interpreter is used by Python, PHP, Perl, Ruby, etc. So this is how the difference, and you can say versus compiler versus interpreter. Hope you understand this concept now, and see you in the next one. Take care.